Assassin's Creed. Talk about a series with highs and lows. From classic titles like these ones, to whatever happened here, the series isn't what it used to be. Not to hate on the current type of games, but the difference is apparent. At the beginning, these games were historical fantasies that let you parkour around a city and roleplay as an assassin with the ability to take out enemies in seconds. The games went through many settings, tried new ideas like for Unity and Black Flag, but after Origins, things have been much different. The game started to become less about being a deadly assassin and more about being an unstoppable war general, taking command in active wars and pillaging towns. They did try a return to form with Mirage, but it left many elements of the new games and it's hardly a return to form, honestly. And with their latest game, Shadows, receiving mixed reviews, it's unsure where the series is going to go from here. But how about we go back a bit and see what Assassin's Creed used to be? In this video, I want to go over the prologue of both Assassin's Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and compare both of them. Stepping into Assassin's Creed 3, the game wastes no time having you be an assassin. From the first mission, we're climbing on walls, sneaking around, taking out targets. We play as Haytham Kenway during the first couple of chapters, on his journey to the American colonies, on the search for precursor technology. The game has you learn the ropes by jumping around the city, sneaking into enemy camps, and assassinating. The parkour feels fun and decently smooth in this game, and taking out soldiers quickly and effectively is very satisfying. The gameplay isn't the only interesting part though, as the dialogue in this game is a pretty high point. Many will have optional conversations that add to the world and gives the characters life.
Yourself, William.
What's to tell? I was born in Ireland to Catholic parents, which I learnt early in life severely limited my opportunities. So I converted to Protestantism and journeyed here at the behest of my uncle. But I fear my uncle Peter was not the swiftest of men. He sought to open trade with the Conyan Gahaga, but chose to build his settlement away from the trade routes instead of on them. I tried to reason with the man, but as I said, not the swiftest.
Benjamin Church, for example, tells us how he got into medicine, citing, "You can't put a price on life," as his motivation. The characters aren't just set pieces, they have their own goals, strengths, and weaknesses. After getting our allies, Haytham follows a lead that a Mohawk tribe may have more clues on precursor technology. He and his allies decide to free the enslaved tribe members in hopes of getting closer to them. During the mission, Haytham meets a woman from said tribe who takes a liking to him, and a couple months later, she asks for his help. During this, we peek as assassins, jumping through trees and obstacles with our allies on our way to the fort to free the slaves. This moment really got me hype. A gang of assassins hopping through trees together goes so hard. And it did not disappoint, with an incredible ending to Haytham's act as he confronts his old ally Braddock. Braddock is a general in the English army and sees himself superior to the tribes here, so he chooses to enslave and exploit them. In his final dialogue, he said we would be better off if we employed the sword more liberally with the savages. Haytham agrees, as he plunges his dagger through Braddock.
There's innocents slaughtered, and for what? It does not engender peace to cut your way to resolution.
Wrong. Whether we applied the sword more liberally and more often, the world would be a better place than it is today.
In this instance, I concur.
The story jumps a couple of years and we now play as Connor, Haytham's son, who lives in a tribe with his mother. The mother being the woman who took a liking to Haytham. With little to go on, we're left in the dark as to what happened between now and then. We follow Connor as he plays with his friends in a nearby valley, where Connor actually gets jumped by a group of Englishmen. And these men, to our surprise, is led by our old ally Charles Lee, who is the first man that Haytham meets when he gets off the boat to the American colonies. As he awakens, he finds his village burning and his mother trapped under rubble. Unable to save her, Connor has a new mission now. Find Lee, get revenge, while protecting his tribe from future threats. The game does a great job at getting us invested by having our former allies that we spent hours getting to know become the enemy, and for unknown reasons. This intrigue grips the player and pushes them forward into their role as an assassin. The game shows us what's possible from the get-go and what it really means to be an assassin as you play as Haytham, only to put you in the shoes of Connor as he makes his own legacy. Phenomenal start. Now let's see Paul Allen's Assassin's Creed. As the camera pans, one of history's greatest fighters, Leonidas, enters frame. He delivers a commanding speech and grabs his men as they storm a battlefield. We get to play as him for a bit, which gives us access to a bunch of abilities and shows us what the game has to offer. Abilities including a Spartan kick, a bull rush, and exploding. Once we're through slicing and dicing, the game brings us to our actual main character, either Alexios or Cassandra if you want to play as a man or woman. Waking up, we're greeted by Cyclops' men, whom we owe money to. Unable to pay, we decimate them with haste and learn that our buddy Marcos has bought a vineyard nearby. Wondering what mess he's got himself into this time, we go visit him. Jumping around on our way to Marcos, I've noticed that some paths have cool parkour in them, but most areas are just made for running through. That being said, the game does look stunning, so the exploring is pretty fun even without a lot of parkour. Being able to reach faraway buildings that you see is always a great feeling. Reaching Marcos, he sends us immediately to go collect his debts from other people. You see, Marcos isn't the best with money. And Cyclops is also pissed that we humiliated his men so thoroughly, so now we have to go rescue our local orphan Phoebe. Doing both those missions pretty easily, we return to Marcos and learn he's got in his vineyard by borrowing money from the Cyclops. And by a stroke of genius, Marcos tells us we have to go steal Cyclops' prized possession. It's going to get us rich and somehow make everything worse. As we obliterate all of Cyclops' men, I wonder why we even owed this guy money to begin with. The combat in this game is a bit weird, because everyone acts like we're supposed to be weak, but barely anything could stop us. On top of that, our character isn't really an assassin, but he is able to assassinate some targets if they have a low enough health and you have enough patience. The stealth segments are pretty fun though, when you're able to actually kill people. Back with Marcos, he tells us of the newcomers from Cyclops' gang around the East Shore. Arriving there and dealing with them, we meet a very interesting individual. For me, this is where the story started gripping me the most. He introduces himself as Elpenor and is very interested in our character. He asks us for a favor and says he'll pay good money in return, so who are we to decline? Stealing some drip for him, he reveals through hints that this was none other than a test. Knowing that we are capable, he wants us to be an assassin for him. And that's where this game takes you off the first small little island and into the real game world. I did enjoy this intro segment at times, but it felt very detached from the opening segment with Leonidas and the whole main plot. The random flashbacks didn't really help connect the dots, and by the end of the island, I was still pretty confused. The only real intrigue we had was who Elpenor really was and how he knew us. And even though we did assassin activities, the game made me feel a lot more like a warrior. Be it with the literal war segment, or extra health enemies, the assassination really felt like a secondary thought. Assassin's Creed 3 might have set my expectations for what an Assassin's Creed game should be, but that doesn't mean Assassin's Creed Odyssey is a bad game. It's just a weird Assassin's Creed game. The whole RPG vibe the series has taken since Origins feels like it should have been its own series, and, the emphasis on assassination in these games is really secondary. Assassin's Creed 3 does not only a good job at getting you feeling like an assassin, but with that grippy story, it really gets you into the game. Despite a slow start, once you make it to the American colonies, things move pretty fast, and they leave a lot of questions and set up a lot of plot points. Whereas I felt Odyssey made me feel very disconnected from the main story after Alexios woke up on that island. By the end of it, we still didn't have much insight to the main plot, on what the whole point of the game was, what any of the flashbacks meant, and who anyone was. We're left with questions, but they're much broader and don't feel properly set up. Like I'm asking them because I'm lost, not because I have theories as to what is happening. All to say, I don't hate Odyssey. It's a great game, I have about 80 hours into it, and I'll probably put even more. But as someone who grew up on Brotherhood, playing Assassin's Creed 3 brought the old feelings of Assassin's Creed back that I really did enjoy. When I jump into an Assassin's Creed game, I don't want to wage war, roll dodge, or parry. I want to jump around and one-shot people. Assassin's Creed lost its identity when it changed the formula this drastically, and not just for a side project. It became the standard, the original idea. Who knows if there will ever be a return to form for Assassin's Creed, as I'm assuming these new games make a lot of money or they would have stopped. But the world would have been a much better place if the two series could just separate and bring the old Assassin's Creed back. At this point, I'd even settle for a remake, but an original game would be way better. And what do you think? Is Assassin's Creed better off now, or should it go back? Which game had the better intro? Which did you enjoy more? Let me know down in the comments, and if you made it this far, don't forget to subscribe. Peace.